My name's Natasha Welfare. I'm a mental health counsellor, and this is my last video for Mental Health Awareness Week 2021. The topic for this video is the evidence for exercise. Every single client that I see in my private practice, in my work with mental health, I ask them about exercise. It's always, part of the treatment plan. And what I'm hoping to do in this video is explain to you why I think exercise is so important when it comes to mental health. So the first thing I want to talk about today is brain chemistry. So when we exercise, we see our levels of serotonin and dopamine come up. And really what that means is our mood is stabilized. It helps to regulate our sleep, which is such an important part of mental health, and also our digestion. But those particular chemicals are really important to help us with good healthy digestion. And really, in a sense, when we think about serotonin and dopamine, we're really thinking about nature's free antidepressants, because it is such a powerful feeling, and we really do feel it and experience it for ourselves every time we finish a workout. It's that lovely natural high. I also wanted to talk a little bit about trauma, the importance of exercise when we're working with anyone who has suffered trauma. And Bessel van der Kolk, his work is really important here, particularly where yoga is concerned. He has done brain scans on trauma survivors having sort of practiced yoga, and what he's noticed is that there are parts of the brain that are fired up through yoga practice, and those parts of the brain are the parts of the brain concerned with pleasure, with control, and with trust especially. And I think the one that really interests me there is the part of the brain that's concerned with feeling in control, that lovely sense of agency. And I think for anyone who practices yoga, we really feel that, don't we? In certain positions, and even sort of, after we finish the yoga practice, we have that lovely feeling of being back in control again. And we can literally see that part of the brain sparking up on a brain scan, which I think is, absolutely incredible. I wanted to talk a little bit about post-traumatic stress disorder. There's some really interesting information here. So a study was done looking at the victims of Hurricane Katrina and looking at the victims of 9/11. After 9/11, victims ran for their lives. We saw them on the television running. That's exactly what our bodies are designed to do in crisis. We are designed to move. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the victims were airlifted into gyms for the most part, and so their capacity for movement was really restricted. Now, the PTSD figures after 9/11, it was at 16%, and after Hurricane Katrina, the PTSD figures were 33%. And so, we can really see from that, movement was such an important factor, in terms of, avoiding symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. The last thing that I wanted to talk about really are two really important parts of the brain, the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex. And there's been this incredible study that has been done that shows that exercise literally makes these two parts of the brain bigger and stronger. So we almost start to think of them as being a bit like a muscle. The prefrontal cortex sits just behind the forehead, and that part of the brain is to do with focus and attention. The hippocampus is in the temporal lobes. That part of the brain is more concerned with memory. And actually what we can start to see here is that as we sort of grow and strengthen these parts of the brain, we can avoid neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, which I think is absolutely incredible. So lots and lots of evidence for exercise in this video. So whatever you decide to do, grab a skipping rope, go swimming, go for a walk, play tennis, go for a bike ride, enjoy it, do what feels good for you, and just know that it will massively, impact on your mental health.